Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 1830 Cloverleaf Road here in Lake Oswego. We're located at the front of the home. We're off to the right of the front doorway. We have a 4-inch cast iron clean. It's actually got a 3-inch cap, but it's 4-inch pipe. Anyway, we're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We're currently sitting right at the base of the cleanout where we've zeroed out, and we do have water running. Here we go. And just so you know, my camera, you may see the picture darken or go black here for a moment. It will come back by the time we reel the camera in for the full-on inspection. But the camera has a slight kink in it. If it totally goes on us, I do have another camera we can use. It looks like it just transitioned there. Right here at about 12 feet over to concrete pipe, and it appears to still be 4-inch in diameter. And this appears to be transite concrete. We've got joints every 10 feet and they're gasketed. Transite concrete, in my opinion, is about 100 times better than standard aggregate concrete. Rather than having aggregate rock in the concrete mix, it has asbestos fibers, and because of that, the stuff holds up for a very, very long time. Concrete pipe of this same age here, we'd see lots of rough rock showing through, where transite stays very smooth. I mean, it almost looks the same right now as it did when it was first installed. That's why it's a good pipe product. Holds roots out better and just lasts longer overall. Looks like we have a test tee coming into the top of the pipe there. We're likely getting quite close to the street. I apologize for all this back and forth. I'm trying to get the cobweb cleaned off the lens. It looks like now we're in ABS plastic. And then we just transitioned here. This is aggregate concrete. And it looks like it's 6-inch in diameter as best I can tell there. But you can see how much rougher the pipe bottom is than the asbestos concrete. It's much rougher. And I think right here at the main lateral connection, there's a offset or separated joint here that's not letting my camera move past. I'll try and pop over this, but this may be as far as we can get. Yeah, that's as far as we can go there. It looks like just about 6 inches in front of that transition there. It looks like the main lateral connection. I'm going to go locate and see where we're at here exactly. I did locate the camera head successfully, and we are indeed only about 6 inches from the main. There's a manhole cover right next to where I'm locating, and that's lining up with where I'm locating here. Again, we have a separated joint here in the line. I had to kind of wait for it to drain out here to see how significant it is. It's really hard to tell in these circumstances whether that joint is all the way open to the ground or not. But it looks like it's been pulled apart there by about 1 inch, maybe slightly more than that. Unfortunately, I can't turn the camera and look inside that joint. That would give us our best view, but it's pulled apart enough that I would recommend a spot repair to correct it. It looks like it's, as far as functionality goes, debris and everything is still shooting past this point with very little issue at all. My concern would be that there might be sewage and water escaping the line here at this point. And I can't confirm that. These joints do have a certain amount of overlap where they can be separated to a certain extent without being open to the ground. So it's kind of a tough one. As far as functionality and getting toilet paper and everything else out to the main, it's not affecting that at all. Otherwise, we'd have lots of debris build up here. But it could also be allowing water to escape the line. So I would contact the city. I do believe the city of Lake Oswego accepts responsibility for the street portion of the line. Now, I'll put a white X out in the roadway. This is one of those that might be an ideal candidate, especially if it's a homeowner responsibility, maybe to do a pipeliner on it rather than to try and dig it up. I think it's going to save a lot of money in this circumstance. So I'm going to put a white X marking here. And I have to recommend a repair at this point. Not, you could probably figure out whether it's leaking or not, but it would take quite a bit of testing to do that. And when I see this much separation, I have to recommend a spot repair to fix it, as it could just as easily be letting water escape out the sides there, where it's opened up the most. Here, I've got that marked with a white X out in the street. We're at 6 feet 6 inches deep. Again, because we're under concrete here, if a spot repair ends up happening, I would highly recommend looking into a epoxy liner for that repair. In a circumstance like this, it will likely save at least $1,500, if not more than that. You don't have to dig any holes when you do a pipe liner. And it's one of those deals where you can see that there's aggregate starting to show through in the concrete. It's not at a point yet where it just needs to be repaired. It's showing some age and some wear there. But honestly, if you were to go through with a liner, generally the biggest cost with epoxy liners is the setup. And to go distance is usually, it's way more cost effective to line 10 feet versus 2 feet, because it will only cost you maybe another $400 or $500 to line that whole section. So if you do a liner, I would recommend starting it right here at the transition from ABS to concrete. It's kind of a wasted opportunity to update some pipe that will need updating at some point in the future, and that might still be 10 or 15 years from now, when that aggregate gets to the point where it's starting to catch debris because it's so rough on the inside. But it's not at that point yet. It's functionality-wise, it is still doing its job. There's no debris buildup there, and there's just not enough aggregate to really cause a flow problem yet. But if a spot repair is done there, especially by pipe liner, I would recommend just doing the whole section. It's really not going to cost that much more money, and you've updated a line that is showing some age, and would be a good and most cost-effective time to do it. You can see the difference in the smoothness between this pipe and that aggregate pipe I was just showing you. This transite concrete stuff's pretty cool. And all that hanging from the top of the pipe there is just a bunch of cobwebs. It's not roots. Alrighty, we are just about to reel the camera out of the line here. We have good flow all the way out to the main lateral connection, despite that, even that separated joint. What I don't know if that is letting some water escape the line. It's not letting all the water escape by any means, but it could be letting some leak out of the line, and slowly but surely over time that can amount to a large amount. But I have no way to confirm that, unfortunately. Usually it would require doing a soil sample to really know whether or not a line is actually opened up to the ground or not. But when it's showing about an inch or so of separation, I've got to recommend a repair, because it's entirely possible that it's that point. So I do recommend that be spot repair, but definitely contact the city. There's a very good chance that joint is their responsibility. Definitely want to look into that before going forward with a repair on the line. Aside from that, though, the rest of the line, the concrete I would call it in fair to good condition. The rest of the pipe, though, is in good shape, and it is functioning properly at this time, short of maybe letting some water escape the line. And again, I have to speculate. I don't know for sure if that's the case, but with that much separation in the joint, it is entirely possible that that's what's happening there. But aside from that, the rest of the line is looking good, and it is functioning properly at this time. Make sure a rescope is done after any repair work to make sure it looks good.